My name is Samantha Attard. I'm a wellness coach, yoga instructor, nutrition PhD, and professor here in Washington, D.C. And my job is to make you feel happy and healthy. My company is called Happy Healthy Human, and I am here doing what I do because I know that when you feel good physically and mentally, you're going to be able to be good to those around you and give your best energy to your jobs, your careers, your families, and your community. So that's why we're here. I love being here and sharing it with you. So thank you guys all for joining, because my gosh, this community would not exist without you. So it's great to have you guys here. Let's get into today's topic. Today's topic is all about stress and your stomach. This is a great topic that came up on our free Facebook group. It's called Happy Healthy Humans. You can definitely always join in there and ask your questions so I can answer them here live on Periscope. So Heather asked a really great question of, is there a connection between stress and our gut health or our digestive issues? So basically, if you're having problems with your stomach, whether it be things are moving too fast, things are moving too slow, you feel really bloated, should you be thinking about stress as a possible cause? How do you break that cycle? What's actually happening? So let's start with the basics. And first, I guess I'd love to hear you guys first here, hands up if you feel like you do have a lot of stress in your life. Little hand up if you feel like you're feeling a lot of stress. Okay, awesome. Okay, Amber, I'm sorry. Yeah, you feel that it already is affecting you like crazy. Okay, so we got some stress in the house. Okay. So then the next question is also, are you dealing with digestive issues? So I'd love to hear if you guys are also finding issues with that. So now let's raise some hands for digestive issues. You can throw in a yes, yeah, okay. So this is really great information, because what we're going to try to do is break that connection as best as we can. So how can we break that connection? Because it does truly exist. So here's a couple of the things that happen when you do have stress. And how it can affect your belly. So how are they actually connected? So a couple of different ways. Maybe you guys have heard that there's actually a lot of nerves in our stomach. Has anyone ever heard about that? About how they say your brain actually lives in your stomach, that those gut feelings are actually true, that it's not made up, that you feel something in your gut, you feel your emotions in your gut. And that's truly true. We have a lot of nerve endings in our stomachs, and so that means that as our brains are firing, feeling tons of stress, not really doing good, then that can also cause a lot of nerves and signals getting sent out to our bellies, and that we can start to be causing some contractions and some action in our stomach, maybe when we don't really want it to. On the other side, we have our stress system, which is our adrenal system. So our cortisol, adrenaline, those hormones that get released whenever we are stressed out. And these hormones have huge effects and huge connections with our stomach and with our digestive system. So a lot of people have heard about how cortisol affects insulin, and that's the reason why sometimes being stressed can be associated with being overweight or having more belly fat. So that is definitely a possibility. But the other thing that happens is that when you do release a bunch of cortisol, adrenaline, your stress system is going, you're essentially turning off all of the activity that would be your rest and digest mechanisms. So the cortisol system, our adrenaline system, is basically the opposite of our rest and digest system. So when we are calm, when we don't have that stress, our body, our digestive system is able to work as it can. We can put a lot of energy into digesting our food properly. And this is really important, because our digestive system, there's a lot of stuff going on between our stomachs, our mouths to our stomachs to our small intestine, and getting it out of our body. There's a lot happening there, and it takes a lot of energy. If we tell our bodies, though, that we're stressed about something, when there's something we need to be worried about, essentially it says, okay, no one cares about digesting the chocolate chip cookie. I need to take care of this stressful situation. So we divert that energy away from our digestive system and then towards anything else we need to be doing, whether it's moving our arms or jumping out of the way of the car or responding to an email. That's where our body starts to focus that energy, and it takes it away from our stomach and our digestive system. And what that does is it starts to mess with how we're actually digesting our food. It definitely can lead to a slowed down digestive system, and it just wreaks a little bit of havoc with our stomachs. So a couple of the other things that happen, I have some notes down here, is that it's also going to increase permeability in your stomach. There's evidence that having stress means that some of those cells in your stomach lining, in your small intestine, they kind of separate a little bit more, and that means more things can get from your small intestine and your digestive tract into your body. So a lot of you guys have heard me talk about gluten and casein and these proteins that can get into our body and cause inflammation. Well, how are we letting them into our body in the first place? It's what happens when we have some of those spaces, we increase that permeability, and then things are able to get into our small intestine. Yeah, I know, gosh, Heather, I know, it is not good, that's for sure. Exactly, Sandy, just like leaky gut. And there's also evidence that it can also hurt and change our microbiome. So our actual bacteria in our bellies will change slightly based on stress. And again, this leads to more digestive issues. It can lead to overgrowth of yeasts and bacteria, and that's where you see things like SIBO, so S-I-B-O, I think it's small intestinal bacteria overgrowth, or candida, or other yeast overgrowth in our digestive system that are not good for us and lead to a lot of distress. So hopefully at this point I have convinced you all that there is indeed a big connection between feeling stressed and feeling digestive issues, whether that again be constipation, bloating, diarrhea, cramping. All of that is totally related to stress. The important question then is, what the heck do we do about it? And luckily I have a lot of good tips and good ways that you can actually deal with your stress better so that you can then not have those same digestive issues. Before I move on to that, truly, if there is anyone you know that should be hearing this broadcast, please share it out just like Sandy just did. I would really appreciate it because this is something that is very important, because it is having such a huge impact on your health, on your well-being. But the thing is that it is a vicious cycle. So you feel stressed, you cause some digestive issues, then your digestive issues start to cause you stress because you don't feel good and because it's embarrassing or not fun or you're uncomfortable. So it ends up being this vicious cycle. And so let's stop it in our tracks. That is what our goal is here today. So a couple of different ways that you can start to deal with your stress better. I'm going to give you my main action plan for when I get a stressor. So here's the thing about your stress system. It is part of your lizard brain. It is this old part of your brain, the amygdala, that is, it evolved very long time ago, and just reacts. It is emotional. It is not rational part of our brain. It is the emotional part of our brain. So whenever something stressful happens, whether it's a car almost hits you, or you see a scary email, or someone yells at you, or whatever that stressful event is, whenever that happens, you release this surge of hormones. So that cortisol, that adrenaline, all of these hormones surge through your body. Now, let's say that, the email headline was really scary, and then you click on the email and, oh, they were just joking. Even if you have gotten over that stressor, you actually really can't stop that chemical cascade that's happening. So your body got stressed, you shot out all this cortisol and adrenaline, and you can't stop it right away. So what that means is that those hormones are gonna have to do their course, take their time through their body, and then be released and as they break down. So even if something scary happens and then the stress is gone, those hormones can still remain. And they're gonna remain in your body for about 90 seconds. And here's what happens when those stress hormones are in your body. So it's 90 seconds. And when that cortisol and adrenaline is going, what happens is you get to that fight or flight mode. So you get out of that rest and digest mode. So your stomach, all those tissues stop doing their digestive work for a few seconds. Also, it kind of shuts down some of the rational parts of your brain. The rational part stops working, you revert into that emotional part, and you become a really bad decision maker. So that means that, if something scary happens, someone yells at you, you have this stressor going on, that's when you yell back, right? Because you don't have that foresight, that ability to say, okay, he's yelling, he's a little angry, but we can deal with this like it's okay. Instead, you yell back, you are worried, you're upset. It kind of perpetuates that stress. So, knowing that we know that, knowing that we have 90 seconds where our biology is just gonna go, the best thing you can start to do is start to acknowledge and pause during those 90 seconds. Not easy, but totally doable. So, something stressful happens, boom. Okay, hormones released, let's take a deep breath. Let's take a few breaths. Let's not respond right away to the email. Let's not try to solve the problem right away. Let's actually take 60 seconds, 90 seconds to breathe, maybe step back, maybe get a glass of water, but take a couple seconds to let your hormones calm down before you try to jump in with your brain and start problem solving. Now, this is really important because if we don't take that time to do that, if we don't take that time to respect and honor our adrenal system, if we don't do that, then it does perpetuate, because then we start writing the email furiously, and then we start doing it again furiously. Exactly, I know it's so hard. Thank you, Sandy. But we start to perpetuate it if we don't take that pause. Then we do really release that cortisol again and again and again, because then we're furiously writing the email, and then we're really worried about what he's gonna say, and then we're, and you just keep on going and going and going, and that's really difficult, and that's when we start to perpetuate that stress, and that's when it starts to really do a number on our digestive system, because it's constant. That's when you start to get to adrenal fatigue, adrenal burnout, is that we just are releasing those hormones all of the time, and our body starts to get sensitized or desensitized to it, but everything else in our body starts to break down. So and that's when we have thyroid issues with our glucose metabolism, and we just don't feel good. We don't feel at our best. So the point is that take that 90 seconds. This is my favorite thing, 90 seconds to breathe, even if it's just a couple breaths, to breathe, and then let yourself move forward, breaking the cycle. Sometimes it takes time to get to see these spots and recognize these spots. So sometimes it happens later that you realize, oh, I could have responded slightly differently, and you just start to catch yourself earlier and earlier and earlier in that cycle. So definitely know that those hormones are going to be there. Let them be there for 90 seconds. Know that you're going to feel stressed for 90 seconds, and then be able to move on with your day with that more rational brain. So the other really important thing, the second really important thing that I love is meditation. And this is a way to essentially practice that pausing, that stepping back. That's really what meditation is. It's kind of it's just a practice version. So what meditation is, it's not that scary as it sounds. Truly all it is sitting and actually focusing your attention on something. And what you're doing is you are teaching your brain to start focusing on something. Usually we're just responding to everything that's happening around us, and what meditation does, exactly, it gives us awareness of the present moment. We say, you know what, I'm going to follow my breath, and you inhale and you exhale, and you just notice your breath in and out, and that's practice. It's like training a muscle to focus and to practice. And so the best way that I think you guys can get into meditation is my free 30-day intro to meditation. They're 3-minute guided meditations. We all have 3 minutes in our day. They're super simple. You can find it by swiping over onto my profile. It's the link in my profile, and it is awesome. So 30 days, you get emails sent to you every single day. It's really awesome. 3 minutes goes by so quickly, and I have a lot of different techniques throughout the 30 days, so you can really start to learn what feels really good for you. So I really think that that's an important, really great skill to learn, just because it again is teaching you to focus your attention. It is working on that muscle that we just don't use all day long. So really, really give that a try. The other thing, the third tip that I wanted to mention for breaking this cycle is to start thinking about your food and how does your food affect your body. Now, if you've been having a lot of digestive issues and potentially related to stress, it's really time to get on your probiotics, because your gut bacteria has been altered by the fact that you've been so stressed out. And actually, sometimes by having those gut bacteria in line, it can help you to start to relieve some of that stress. And also think about what you're eating. Think about if it is causing more inflammation, more activity, more stress in your body, then good. If I have some friends that, listing off all these different foods that he's eating, and so many of them is, and it makes me feel bad. And you know, all foods are not supposed to make your body feel that bad. And so sometimes it means that there's some healing that needs to happen, and some choosing of some better foods that are going to be less inflammatory and more healing for your body. And this is exactly what I work with people on. So if you're interested in working with me on how you can introduce some of those less inflammatory foods and start to replace those foods and make sure that your stomach is feeling good, calm, you know, you don't feel like you're super bloated every time you eat, you don't feel constipated all the time. All of this is really, really important, and so I'd love to work with you on that. That's exactly what I do with my clients. So you can always send me an email. My email is sam@behappyhealthyhuman.com. So sam@behappyhealthyhuman.com. You can always send me a note there, and I'd love to work with you on how to introduce some more of those foods that will make your stomach feel good, let your stomach heal, and then so that you can then go about your day again without that stress and with your stomach feeling good. Because it's really, really important. As I mentioned, there's this endless vicious cycle of stress to digestive issues to stress to digestive issues, and it can just kind of go over and over and over if you don't stop it and don't nip it in the bud. So that's what I would love to help you guys do. So in summary, first, that stress definitely impacts your gut and digestive health through your cortisol release, getting away from rest and digest into your fight or flight mode, increasing permeability in your stomach, slowing down your digestive system, making everything blocked up and hanging out. It is no fun, but there are 3 ways that you can relieve that stress and then start to heal your gut. So the first way being that you can start to learn to take those 90 seconds, let those hormones be released, and then take a step back, pause, calm, and then get ready to go on with your day. Second way, meditate. Meditate, you want to practice your focus, so definitely head on over to my profile to press on that link. And then 3, start to choose some better foods, and that can be probiotics, being a really important one to help heal your gut, and then also some less inflammatory foods for you. What would be some of those less inflammatory foods, or those things that can help us deal with stress? So some of the simple ones that are pretty universal, because it is personalized and customized to each person. We all have some different triggers based on what we're currently eating. So that's definitely something that, again, that's why I suggest working one-on-one with someone like myself, because then we can really work out what it actually is that's causing the inflammation in you and making your stomach issues worse in you. But some general things that work really nicely are teas, herbal teas, not caffeinated, because you don't want to ramp up your metabolism, so going more herbal. Exactly, peppermint tea is perfect. I love like warming up almond milk or something like that, just really calming, cooling, really nice. Calcium and magnesium are really nice and cooling, which is a very good thing. Potassium, getting potassium in your body can really help you feel a little happier and calmer. So that's bananas and avocados. Those are really nice things to help you. And it's great because that avocado has some really good fats in it, and those fats again help to be more calming for your system. I highly recommend you guys to take a check out on my website. I have a great recipe for a chocolate avocado pudding. It's chocolate, avocado, banana, and some peanuts for like, so kind of like peanut butter, and it is like the most decadent, lovely dessert and treat. But the reason why it's so great is because those bananas and those avocados are super high in potassium, so it's going to really help calm everything down, cool everything down. It tastes kind of, it's very nostalgic, like a nice little chocolate pudding. So I would highly, highly recommend that. I'm gonna take you guys over here for a second, and chocolate, which also, it releases a little endorphins, which is nice. I wanna show you guys the probiotics that I love so very much. This is Trust Your Gut by Aura. These guys are awesome. There's absolutely no fillers, certified organic. It has prebiotics in it. I love this so much, and you can also get 10% off if you use my code when you check out. So it's called, my code is HappyHealthy-0B4DE. HappyHealthy-0B4DE. So you can buy these probiotics from Aura. There's just $30, again, with 10% off for a 30-day supply. They come with a bunch of probiotics as well as prebiotics. You can look at the back, and I love them because they have an awesome mix of probiotic strains, and that's really important because it's not just one. You need a nice healthy mix, and then there's also, again, those prebiotics, which basically is the food that your probiotics eat. So it's what your microbiome actually eats. Coffee has been soothing your belly. That's really interesting, Heather. And again, that comes into that personalized thing. I'm curious if you take your coffee with milk, because sometimes milk can be more soothing, and sometimes that also shows you that it might also be related to some of your so milk, so the calcium in the milk can also be soothing, and it could be because of the stress, so it's nice to hold a mug of something, so that could also be part of it. Favorite breakfast foods and drinks. A lot of you guys know I love my Chaga mushroom tea, so it's C-H-A-G-A. It's a mushroom tea, so I dry it out, and or it is dried, and I use that because it is such a high antioxidant capacity. It's so huge. It's like 10 times the antioxidants as in blueberries, which is really cool. And then I love to make a nice breakfast. I usually make an amaranth porridge. So I do amaranth, sunflower seeds, chia, flax, sometimes even some hemp hearts with apples. I cook it all up with a bunch of maca. It's wonderful. And some molasses as well for the iron. Whole wheat grains, some people, exactly, Casey. Some people do great with grains. Other people, it can cause some inflammation. For a lot of people, it depends on the state of their stomach as it is right now. So for some people, if you have some inflammation right now, if maybe you are allergic to lactose or milk, or you have been having digestive issues because of your stress, so you have some leaky gut or SIBO or other kinds of issues, then those grains can really start to hurt your belly. On the other hand, there's a lot of people that that if you have a completely healthy system, then you can also then you can handle those whole grains and you do fine. It's also about building some of that resilience in your body. So you know, there's definitely been times in my life where having grains I feel really bad, but right now actually when I have a little bit of quinoa or rice or any of that, I feel great and fine and normal. So I think it just I know that it really depends on the health of your digestive system right now. Again, so Happy Healthy Humans on Facebook is the best place to be because that's where you can ask your questions so that I can answer them here live. As I mentioned, remember there's that meditation practice, 3-minute guided meditations. You can always come on over to the profile and click on that button there to join that group. If you think that you're dealing with some of these issues, you want to find some more anti-inflammatory foods for your diet and start to heal that gut, definitely give me an email. This is exactly what I love to do with people, and I know I can help you out with it too. So I hope to see you guys all soon. Again, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat at Happy Healthy Sam. Definitely join in on the community, and I look forward to talking to you guys soon. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great day. Namaste.